Hi, I'm Assistant Food Service Director Terry Howe. Do you ever have that problem where you put out a perfect meal and you go out into the dining room and then all of a sudden you find out the residents didn't really like the pie dough? I've had that problem. Everybody's had that problem. I'm going to show you a very quick, simple solution to fixing that problem. It's called 3-2-1 pie dough. 3-2-1 pie dough is very simple. Basically 3 parts flour, 2 parts shortening, 1 part water. The key to doing this properly is to making sure your ingredients are measured properly and at the proper temperature. We're going to start with flour. Put the flour in your bowl. Do not mix it in too large a batch, otherwise you'll have a problem. Salt, and then shortening. You can use butter, you can use shortening, or a combination of both. Make sure that the shortening or butter is chilled. I like to keep it in the fridge. Cut up into small cubes so that it disperses evenly within the dough. Lift the hook up, and you're going to turn on your mixer. Basically what you're doing is you're breaking down the shortening and mixing it in until it's about pea-sized shape. This may take a minute or two. You'll see the shortening gradually mix in with the flour and break down in size. The third step to this is the water. The water needs to be ice water, chilled, so that it doesn't melt down the shortening of the margarine or the shortening of the butter so that it mixes in too quickly. I keep my water in the fridge prior to using it, or I have ice water there and I'll measure it out just as I need it. But water in the fridge actually is a better way of doing it. Once the shortening gets down into pea-sized pieces, you're going to mix in your water. And the key to this is not over-mixing it. You cannot turn this on and walk away from it. As soon as it is incorporated into the dough, you need to stop, shut it off. That's it. If you over-mix this, you're going to end up with a tough product because the shortening is mixed in too much and you're not going to get that nice flaky crust. Get the dough off the hook, the paddle. Now when you look at the dough, as you pull it out, you're going to be able to see pieces of shortening still in the dough. That's when you know that you haven't overmixed it. You're going to weigh the dough balls out into 10 to 12 ounce pieces, form them into a disc, flatten them slightly, wrap them in plastic, and throw them in the fridge or the freezer until you're ready to use them. Prior to using them, pull them out. You're going to want to temper them slightly. So pulling them out a few minutes ahead of time makes the dough easier to work with. What I do is I just knead it a little bit in my hand so that it's workable and pliable. Make sure you flour your work surface. And then rolling the dough out, you work from the center out, doing a quarter turn each time you roll. This will give you a nice round, consistently shaped dough to the proper thickness. You will still be able to see some of the shortening in there, but as you roll it, it will incorporate. Remember to turn it over so that it doesn't stick to your board. Now, depending on the type of pie you're doing, you may need to do single crust or double crust if you're doing a cream filled. You may want to bake it prior to filling it, doing a cream filled or pudding pie. You're going to want to put some weight in the bottom. I put parchment paper down. I'll put beans or pie weights on it in order to prevent it from bubbling up. When you have it rolled out, roll it up onto your rolling pin and then into your pie plate. And again, you may want to do a second crust depending on whether or not you're doing a fruit filling. The result of that, finish the pie according to the directions on the recipe, bake it, and the result is a beautiful flaky pie that your residents will enjoy, and you won't find the dough going into the garbage. 3, 2, 1 Pie Dough. Thank you very much.